Hi guys, Fliteska here. Today we are going to talk about world spaces, what they are, and how to create our own custom world spaces using the landscape editor in the creation kit. As with all of these videos, I am already in the CK, and today we have a different mod open. Today we have New World Holotape, which is a mod that I created about this time last year. And what it does is it just adds in a few interior cells as well as a custom world space for you to build settlements in. And what we're going to do, we're going to create our own additional world space for this mod. And if this video goes right, we will have a new release of this sometime in the next week or two. Okay, so to get started, we're going to come to the top here and click on World, and we're going to choose World Spaces from the list. And what we're going to do in here is just go on the left side hand side here. We're going to right click and choose New. We're going to give our world space a custom ID, and just to keep everything our own, we're going to call it New World Holotape Island 02, and we're going to press OK. And I'm just going to give you a little rundown of this screen. You don't really have to worry about most of them. So first you have a name. That's what will show up in the Pip-Boy. So just give it a name. We're just going to call it Mod Island. The parent world space is it's just used for like Diamond City, Sanctuary Hills, and Good Neighbor. They each have the parent as the Commonwealth, and we're just going to do the same. We're not going to worry too much about the different ones, but you can either keep it as none or choose Commonwealth. And if you do choose a parent, you can get access to some shareable data. So we have some LOD information, so it's what things look like in the distance. This is just for the water. So in the Commonwealth, if I click this, I'm pretty sure it does just use ocean water. So if you click use LOD data, it will actually use this data rather than one that you set. So I can, if I untick that, I could change that value to whatever I want. For the most part, you can just leave all of these however you want them, and it wouldn't cause a problem. So water data is the type of water that fills the world. We've got a bunch of different ones. I'm just going to pick bloody water. Never really paid much attention to the different types of water. Generally just leave it as ocean. Climate data is for your weather, and like you got clear climate, default climate, Diamond City's climate, Good Neighbor. I'm guessing that clear climate just gets rid of rad storms. So we'll build a nice tropical island. So we'll go clear climate for this. And on it, then we've got the land data. And if you wanted your world space to be just a flat plane of land, you could just go default land height is 1000, so everything would be like land. and 1,000 units under that is the water. But what I've found is it's better to give your land a negative number, keep the water at 0, so your world space will be full of land. It makes it easier to build an actual island, and you can go as big as you want, really. Um, like the map data is just like the Pip-Boy image that will be used for when you're in the world space. This is hand drawn, like it doesn't get generated when you make your world space. And the usable dimensions of it's supposed to kind of limit you where you can go, but it's just 2 values, so I'm not really sure how that works. The cell coordinates generally does work. It keeps you, like, say you try to go north of Vault 111, and you cannot go that way. It's essentially because you've gone past these. So, like, northwest cell X is the top left, and SE is southeast. So it's like if you go minus 10 cells this way and plus 10 this way, you'll have 20 cells across, 20 cells down. But you can just leave these. It shouldn't cause you too many problems. Right, onto this side. I've never really paid much attention to these ones, but you could probably just check the other world spaces to see the kind of stuff that they have. It's just like different music and a location that they actually have attached to them. So if we'll give it some funky music, I suppose. I'm saying funky music. It's not going to be. I don't even know what the different music actually does. We'll just say explore the coast. We haven't set up any location or encounter zone, and I don't think we need to worry about interior lighting. Right. HD, LOD, I don't know what those are actually used for, but I haven't had any issues not setting them myself. Small world is like it's generally just good practice to put that one on. I'm not sure if it makes too much of a difference, but there's got to be a reason for it. All of the ones that I've done in the past have all been small world, and haven't actually managed to get this fixed dimensions to work, because that's like what I was saying over here about these usable dimensions didn't seem to work. And your world map offset is just for when you got like your image here, how it kind of all fits where it is. And for the most part, that is this window all done. You could really just go give it a name, set the land data, press OK, all done. So we're going to be giving up on that now. So we're going to press OK, and that's our world space created. Okay, this next step isn't needed right now. It's just going to make some bits in the future a little easier. So we're going to come to world data and then location, and we're just going to right click and new, and we're just going to create a location. So we'll just call it new world holotape island 02 location, and we'll give it a name of mod island, and we can just press OK, and we're going to come to world data encounter zone, right click new, And we're going to do the same here. New World Holotape, Island 02 zone, and choose our location from this drop down. So we've got Island 02 location, and we're going to just press OK. And if we come back to world spaces and find our world, we can just set the location here, just there, and put the encounter zone as well. Okay, and then press OK. Alright, now that all that stuff's out of the way, we can actually start doing stuff with our world space. So in the cell view, you can see world space in the drop down. We have our island world space that we created. Click on that, and you can see that we have one cell at 0, 0. What I like to do is slowly double click on wilderness, and we'll just call this New World Holotape Island 02 Center. Like, doesn't matter about naming that, but it just gives you a simple way of getting into that world space. Like in game, you just do COC and then the editor ID. So I'm going to double click on my island center, and as we can see, this is new. I didn't actually think it would show up properly red, but it has. So this is our world space. It's just water, and if you come underneath, there's all the land. Alright, and what we're going to do here is if you press B on your keyboard, you can bring up the cell grid. Just zoom out a bit. I bet I'm not even in the right cell anymore. Just do that, then zoom out. There we go. It's quite hard to, well, you can't even see some of these lines that I wanted to show you. Right, so this yellow and black line around here, that is a cell, and a cell is made up of 4 quadrants. Like, you should be able to see a blue line coming across here, which separates this into 4, and my bloody water just doesn't want that to happen apparently, but it is there. So I'm gonna just save that just before we get into the real hard work here. And what we're going to do is, if you press world and landscape editing, or press H on your keyboard to bring up the landscape editing settings, and what I'm going to show you is what they actually do. So you have the first box here, which is where you actually make changes to the landscape itself. So edit radius is how big this circle is. So you can see you've got a fairly big circle. It's not the same size as the whole cell, and you can just change that to as big or small as you want it. But for your general, getting started, 10 should be fine. And what you can do is, if you left click on your mouse and move the mouse up and down, you can see that it's making the earth appear. So you can see it's just like poking out there, and go up and down, and you just kind of move things around however you really want to. So you can kind of sketch out how you want your island to be. So I've kind of got a hill going on there, and just going up and down on my mouse just to get a shape that would work. And what we can do is kind of just play around with this, change the size if you want a little more fine tuning, and get like just a basic shape going. Alright, so once you've got the shape going that you like, you might notice like here, it's quite difficult to see, but it's very noticeable in game. Like the edges are very square and they are very noticeable in game, and it's very annoying. Um, what you can do with that is you've got two options here. You can flatten it, which will just flatten it out. So flatten, you'll notice that the circle's black now instead of red. What flatten does is it will, I believe it's the center of, like, so where your mouse is, yeah, where your mouse is, it will flatten the landscape to that level. So you can see I'm kind of just flattening it all out to the level of my mouse. And this is good if you ever make a complete mess of things and you just want it back flat. Just Control Z that to get back to this. So like if you tick flatten vertices, that will just bring the land back to a particular level. And the other option, which is the more useful one, is soften vertices. And what this one does is, using a smaller radius so you don't end up completely destroying your island. Alright, you can see this has gone blue. If you click, you can see that it kind of doesn't flatten it to a like a just a pancake. It kind of softens the actual roughness of it, so you can see that it goes over, and it just kind of lets you just make it a bit smoother, a little less noticeable. And this does take quite some time, but you'll be very thankful that you did it when you're in game. Right, you can see that's really jagged, but if I just do this, I can see that it's shaping up a bit better. And just kind of go around and just change this as you want. If you make it bigger, like it flattens it, well, softens more, and it doesn't look too bad actually. Okay, I haven't really touched drawing mode, so I don't actually know what it. Oh, that that is weird. Um, that is very odd. Um, so drawing mode kind of lets you fill in the world. I've never used it before, but that is very strange. Let's see if I can just get back to my island. Um, see, that one makes sense. So that's just like um, lowering the land by 10 units, and I've like flattened it all out now. Okay, so just untick that drawing mode, and we'll come down to this texture section. So in here are all the different textures that are used for the landscape. So you can see asphalt, and like you've got forest dirt, forest floor, grass, coast, sand and grass. Quite a lot of different ones. And to apply those textures, you can change your radius if you wanted to, because like 10 is really big. So I'm going to shrink that down. Yeah, 5 should be fine. So what I'll do is I'm going to just add a bunch of these different textures, and we're going to put them on our cell. Alright, so using the right mouse button, if you click, you can see that it's painting that texture on. Like, it looks very noticeable there that it's repeating. So you gotta like play around with stuff. But I'm just gonna like I'm gonna have an asphalt island, because why not? And one limitation to this is you can only have, I believe it is 8 different textures per cell. So I think I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Let's just put some more on there. 6, 7, and apparently it might be 7 rather than 8. But if you go over the maximum allowed, like I'm right clicking here trying to get this this to go in, and it's just not having it. And when that happens, it's really annoying. Like, I couldn't work out why it happened um, until somebody pointed out what these quadrants were. So you can see the blue line now, and you can see that there's like a hard stop. So with the landscape editor open, if you press I on the keyboard with the render window selected, you can see all the different textures that are on the like on each quadrant. So we've got land, wet rock, sand, rubble, diamond, trash, asphalt, coast, wet rock, sand, rubble, and we can see that there's quite a few. How many have we got? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. We've got 6, and apparently I can't put any more. Oh, 7 if you include land default. But there is a limit, so if you can't actually put textures down, it's because you've hit the limit. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the asphalt, which is right click it and press delete. Delete. In fact, we'll just replace it with some L coast sand wet 01. There we go. So just put a bunch of that in, and I've replaced that across the board as well. And that just like now we should. Oh, wrong button. Now I can just go back over. It's absolutely fine. I'll have to like clear up my other ones. Oh, there we go. If I just press delete, it's working. It's like actually removing them. So we'll just do that. Just go back to normal. Close that. Like, this stuff is just the render window being silly. I wouldn't worry too much about it. I'm gonna just put some. Is there any glowing sea rubble? I'm just gonna cover them up. Oh, be careful when you're um, doing this, I just left clicked rather than right clicked. So I'm going to right click and we're going to make this island all the same. I'm just going to have a lovely rubble island, be fine. Okay, and just play around with this really. Do like just kind of get a good shape of your island, make it so it's not too jaggedy, um, and just yeah, just play around. You should be good to go really. So the next step in the landscaping, obviously this island would look really bad if you load it into game. You're just seeing a big pile of rubble. I'm going to click turn off landscape editing, which doesn't work. So you've got to click the X at the top. That'll freeze for a second, and then we're back. Um, what we can do is in statics, I've opened statics without a filter. Give it a second. Um, if I type in cliff, we get a bunch of cliffs, and we can see what they look like. Ooh, yep, that'll do. We're just gonna put a cliff in here. Obviously, well, that's actually a lot bigger than I was expecting. Um, let's just bring that down and just place it in however you want it. Kind of, you don't want the gap showing, so what you could do is put some uh, bits in, like cliffs and stuff, and then shore up your world space. So I'm just going to put a couple of these in. Not going to completely cover my island in them, but just get a bit of it to cover up parts of it. And make sure when you go under the water it doesn't mess up. So like that big one is fine because it's like right under the, actually is it under the, yeah, it's under the land, but that one isn't, the little one. So I'm just gonna hold S, I'm gonna scale it up quite a lot and then bring it down, just place it in there, and now that is nicely covered. But this is still going to look pretty terrible. That's fine. I wasn't showing you how to make a nice island because that would take far too long. I'm just going to show you how to kind of put it together. So you can kind of tidy up your island using statics. You put whatever you want in here really. I've just put a cliff in, and I'm going to press H to open landscape editor again, and I'm going to try and cover up these like little gaps that you could see, just so you can't see through them. There we go. That'll be fine. Just soften up the vertices a bit. Look around. There we go. Oh, yep, that'll be fine. So we have a lovely rubble pile in the middle of the ocean. But for our purposes, this is perfect, really. So the next step would be go visit it in game. So I'm going to save the mod. I'm going to remember to check what the center cell is. NWH Island 02 center. And I'm going to jump into game and have a look at my island. Right, we are in game now in the lovely Overland Station. And what we're going to do is going to open up the console. I'm going to do COC NWH Island 02 center, and that will teleport us to hopefully on our island and not in the ocean, but we'll see. Press enter. We're in the ocean. I did do some changes to my island. I couldn't bear doing like rubble, so I changed it all to sand, and my smoothing of it did not go very well. As you can see, like it's very blocky. Oh my god, I did such a bad job at this. You can see underneath, so I want to raise that up. And I also added a lighthouse and this cool big rock, like a arch in there. And the water just looks a bit red. And you can see, like, that's freaking out over there. It's because this world space hasn't got LOD, so it doesn't know what to do. And I'm not going to show you how to generate LOD. It's a very awkward thing to do, like time consuming thing to do rather than complex. But I will put a link in the description to another video which is very good, and I use it every time when I do generate LOD. So that is it for this video, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one, where we should hopefully be turning our lovely island into a settlement that we can build at, and I will see you in the next one. Thanks.